To my knowledge, there is only one sign like this on the entire length of the Appalachian Trail. Can anyone guess where I am right now? Feel free to post that in the comments below.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my big 3 items that have earned a spot in my pack for next year's 2020 Appalachian Trail through hike. That's coming up next. My big 3, these are going to be the 3 heaviest items that I'm going to be carrying with me next year on the trail. Those 3 items are going to consist of my backpack, my shelter system, and also my sleep system. I'm going to take a few moments to give a brief overview of each item, then I'm going to set everything up and give you a tour of how it's going to be used on the trail. Before we begin, I do want to mention that I have paid for everything that you're about to see, and I do not consider myself an ultralight backpacker, although I do strive to find a nice balance between lightweight while maintaining some sort of comfort while I'm out there. That being said, let's get started. Starting things off, I'm going to give everyone a quick tour around my Gregory Optic 48-liter backpack. I do have some things shoved in there just to kind of fill it out a little bit so you can take a closer look at it. So you'll note one thing to begin with here on the top. One of the first things I had done was I removed the brain from this backpack. That saved me a few ounces in weight, and I have the storm flap that is installed here on the top. So there's no extra compartments on the top. I really didn't feel that I needed those for this trip. I have some things that I'll share in another video, how I have my ditty bags and everything set up. So on the exterior, you'll see that I do have a rather large mesh area where I can keep some gear on the exterior, my rain gear, my trowel, things of that nature. That's all going to ride on the outside. Here on the sides, we do have mesh compartments. I can fit 2 1-liter bottles in there, my camp seat, my stove system can go in there, and there's also one on each side of the pack. There's some additional lashing points here on the bottom of the pack if you choose to use those. Flipping things around to the front side, the strap side, I do have my accessories already installed. I do have a Hyperlight Mountain Gear shoulder pouch. Now this is not referred to as a foam pouch, however this is an awesome foam pouch. Plenty of room in there for my iPhone, some snacks, some accessories. There is even a small section in the back of it that you can keep money or your ID or a credit card. I'm real happy with this item by Hyperlight Mountain Gear. On this side I have a 1-liter water bottle pouch. This is made by Justin Jewell, and by the way, I'm going to put a link to everything that I'm sharing here today in the description box below so you can go and check out the specs on all of these items. The Gregory Optic, one thing that I really like about this pack is you'll see it has the mesh here on the back. There's aluminum stays on the inside, so the way this is manufactured, this will keep it arched off of your back. And when I'm starting out in February, the last thing I want is my back sweating and then that getting cold. So I really like this mesh right here. It helps keep the pack off my back and keep me cooler. Also, another feature that I like about the Optic bag, I do have an Osprey Exos at home. That is actually going to be sitting on the bench during my trip. If I have any problems with this, I'll send for that. That is an Osprey Exos 58. And one thing I like about the Gregory over the Osprey is it has this padding right here in the bottom for the center of my lower back area. It really helps cinch things up and lets all of this gear ride squarely on my hips and is very comfortable in my back. The Osprey Exos does not have any padding whatsoever here at the bottom. And also my Osprey Exos, it's the newest model. It does not have the side waist belt pockets. So I do like the fact that my Gregory does have the waist belt pockets. I put my headlamp on the one side and I'm able to carry some snacks in the other. So that's a quick overview of my backpack. Everything combined with my accessories already installed weighs in at 2 pounds and 9 ounces. Getting into my shelter system, you will notice that I'm now using a Z-Pax duplex tent. For those of you who have seen my earlier videos, my earlier shakedowns, I was using a Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL1 one-person tent. And some of the reasons I stepped up to the duplex tent is, number one, the weight. This only weighs 20.5 ounces in the camouflage version. Also, it is so much easier to set up in the rain. This is a single wall tent, so I can be set up inside this tent and nice and dry in about 3 minutes flat. And also, I have so much more space, this being a 2-person tent. If I'm out on trail and I end up taking a 0 on the trail, bad weather, snow, sleet, freezing rain, and I decide to take a break on the trail, I'll have a little bit more room inside this tent versus my Big Agnes tent. Stepping over into my sleep system, I have an Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt. This is rated at 20 degrees. And you can use this basically as a blanket, but I have the foot box here all zipped up and cinched shut because I will be using this as a quilt. This has 800 down tech fill insulation that is pre-treated with a waterproof treatment to help keep this dry while it's out on a trail. However, this is not waterproof, so I need to do everything I can to keep this lifeline as dry as possible while I'm out on the trail. I am using a sleeping bag liner to help keep the inside of my quilt nice and clean and also boost the ability, the warmth factor of my quilt. This is the Sea to Summit Reactor sleeping bag liner, and this is to add up to, we're going to say up to 14 degrees of warmth to my existing sleep system, and this actually weighs 9 ounces. This is something that's probably going to make the duration of the trip with me next year. The sleep pad that I'm going to be taking along is the Nemo Tensor pad. Now this is considered a short mummy pad. It's only 48 inches long and 20 inches wide, and I'm going to show you more when I set everything up here in a few minutes how I plan to use such a short pad. Now Nemo does not give an R rating on their pads. So what they do is they give a recommended temperature usage, and this particular one is rated for 30 to 40 degrees, and that's not going to do the trick when I'm leaving in February and I'm facing single-digit temperatures. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to marry a few things together here in just a few minutes. This weighs only 8.5 ounces. Another item that's coming along for the ride is an item that I've had for a few years now. This is my SOL Escape Bivy. This is manufactured of a Tyvek type material that has a reflective insulation coating on the inside, although it is breathable. And I'm going to share with you in a few minutes how I'm going to marry all that together with my sleep system, and again, give me some additional R value, if you will, some additional warmth on those cold February nights. This weighs 8.1 ounces. One quick tip that I would like to share, you'll notice that these 3 items, I've removed the stuff sack for each item, and that can save me potentially a few ounces in weight while I'm out there. What I'm using is, I'm using hair ties. I've simply gone to the Dollar Tree and I bought a packet of colored hair ties. And the reason why you want to use the colored ones is if you drop it, you don't want to drop a black one. Buy bright colors, so when you're dropping them or if you're rooting through your items in your pack, you're able to see these a little bit better. So these don't even register on my scale, the hair ties, so I simply use those to band things together. And you may want to note with my sleep pad here, I want to be able to protect that on the trail, so whenever I pack everything up in my pack, this item is actually going to be stuffed in the foot box of my quilt and rolled up, so that gives it a lot of protection while it's riding in the back of my pack and prevents any type of damage done to it while I'm out on the trail. So I'm going to take a few minutes to get everything set up here real quick, and I'm going to give you guys a tour of how I'm going to be using everything on the trail next year. Here we are all set up, the Z-Packs duplex tent in camouflage. I love the double vestibule doors. It has 2 entrances, so if you have a second person in there with you, that's great. A footprint is not required for this tent, thus saving additional weight. Z-Packs also manufactures a freestanding pole kit for this for another 11 ounces, although I do not plan on taking that along with me. Love the double doors in here because it's real easy to redirect the wind, to either block the wind or direct the wind directly through the tent. Looking forward to that during the summer months to help direct a breeze through there so I can stay cooler. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. Taking a moment to show everybody the foundation of my sleep system, that being my Nemo Tensor pad. You can see that this is the short mummy pad, only 48 inches long. And I've slept on this several times already. I'm a side sleeper and I've found great comfort in this. It may shock you that half of my pad is missing, but I do want to assure you that my shoulders rest up in this area, my hips rest about here, and then my legs actually go down and stay on the top of my backpack, keeping everything up off the floor, keeping me insulated from the ground. So now I'm going to show you part 2, which is going to be my summer setup for mid-year. So next I have things set up. Again, this is going to be my summer setup where temperatures may dip into per se the 60s. I have simply my Sea to Summit Reactor sleeping bag liner that I plan to use. And once warm weather approaches, I may be sending my Enlightened Equipment 20-degree bag home and picking up my Aegis Max bag that is significantly lighter than that. Here is a fair weather, warm weather setup. Take you on the next step and let's get a little colder. So this is where things really begin to come together for the foundation of my cold weather sleep system. This is my SOL Escape Bivy. I have my backpack shoved down in the foot box of this bivy, and I also have my Nemo Tensor pad inside my bivy itself. You can see as I fold this back how reflective this material is. However, it remains breathable. I've never had a problem with the condensation in these bags. Now, SOL makes a bivy that is more of a foil reflective material. You'll end up in a sauna on that. So if you're considering going this route at any point in time, make sure you buy the Escape version of this. It will allow the moisture to escape and not build up, creating condensation. So simply I have my pad in here, and to finish up, you can call this a mattress if you would like. Simply zip that shut, and there's the foundation with the bivy included, which also increases the amount of insulation, increasing my R value and allowing me to sleep on a much colder surface. So let's go ahead and get everything put in here, and I'm going to show you my February departure cold weather sleep system. So here we have everything set up with my Enlightened Equipment 20-degree Revelation quilt, and I don't have the straps attached to the pad. For those of you who have used these before, there are sleep system pad straps that you can actually cinch around the body of your pad. It allows you to hook the quilt down to the sides, pulling it down tight around your sides, so when you're sleeping it keeps all the warmth in and all the cold out. But I wanted to show you this simply laid back, and the layering system will be my Sea to Summit reactor liner. I'll be inside that, and then inside my 20-degree quilt. I had this system down to 14 degrees a few weeks ago when we had the polar vortex move through. I did have a mid-weight base layer on my body, and I also had this particular puffy jacket right here, and I was very comfortable to 14 degrees. Those temperatures go lower, or if the humidity were to increase, say I was up on a mountaintop and the cloud was blowing through, I would consider wearing my wearables, my hiking clothing on the outside, possibly including my rain gear, which again is going to add another layer of warmth. And my lifeline to this whole system is, all I simply have to do is take this bivy, zip it open, and slide inside. What I would do is I would be inside, again, my liner, inside the bivy, and underneath the quilt system. I feel very confident that this system is going to take me down to single digits, considering part of my shelter system is my worn clothing and my rain gear. You'll notice I do not have a pillow that I brought along, and that is because I plan on using a couple other items as a pillow that I'm already going to have along with me that are multi-use items. So I'll go ahead and show you two pillow setups here real quick that might be able to help someone else out on their trail if you don't have an inflatable pillow or something like that. So right here is pillow configuration number one. If you're not using your puffy, and you don't need that on those cold nights, most of your puffies have a little slot, an interior pocket that you can pack your puffy into. But if you're using another brand of puffy that does not allow you to pack that inside, that travel pocket, that's what they're actually considered, to use it as a pillow, what I've done here is I have simply taken this puffy and I shoved it into its own sleeve. This can also even be used as something comfortable as a small body pillow. Myself, I have a lot of shoulder pain. I'm a side sleeper. So I do like to have something extra to keep me comfortable at night. So I've even used this as a body pillow to kind of hug while I'm laying on my side. It keeps me nice and cozy. Here's my second pillow configuration that I've come up with. So kind of use your imagination on this. What I have here is I have my Thermarest Z seat, my camp seat, folded simply in half to try to give a little rigidity to this particular setup right here. Now I've simply taken my puffy and shoved it inside here just for demonstration purposes. However, if you had your worn pants or an extra shirt, something that you can roll up and slide inside your buff. My buff is on the outside. It's going to give you a nice warm material that's not going to make you sweat quite as much. This particular one is a merino wool buff, but you get the idea. Stuff some stuff inside there, and then there is a nice pillow for you using items that you've already carried with you at no additional weight. So there you have it, everybody. That is my big three, and this is going to be home for approximately 6 months next year for my AT through hike. All right, everybody, here we go. This is going to be my winter big three. Everything is packed up inside. You can see I have my scale zeroed. I may eventually switch over to a Dyneema pack once I have a little bit lighter load, a little bit later in the season. Hopefully this will zero. 7 pounds and 5 ounces. I will take it. Again, I'm not ultra light, but I think it's not too shabby for my big three. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to all of my new subscribers. It is so wonderful to have you along for my journey next year. Thank you so much for all the awesome comments, the positive feedback, and the well wishes. Thank you so much, everybody. I do have some more gear videos coming up here real soon. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, please hit that notification bell so you're notified as soon as my next video comes out. I would greatly appreciate that. Everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care, everyone.